This is the journal that I have kept for the last year. It has been like a lifeline to me. I think everyone should be journaling. I think it is one of the best things a person can do for their mental health. I'm going to go over the reasons that I think journaling is so beneficial for everyone. I'm going to go over my 6 rules for journaling well, and then finish up with where to start journaling if you want to journal but have no idea how to begin or what to write once you sit down with your journal. If you normally watch my channel, no, I'm not talking about any fantasy books this time, but I think you will still get a lot out of this video. And if you're new here and just want some tips on journaling and couldn't care less about fantasy books, welcome. Mental health has been getting a lot of attention recently in time. Modern day, we're realizing that we are more than just a physical body, and our minds need to be taken care of as well. Our brain is storing so much. There's so much going up in here. All the stress, all the anxiety, all the worries, all the things depressing you and holding you down. If there were a way to get that stuff out and transfer it to another receptacle, that would feel really helpful, yeah? That's partly what journaling does for me. Not a miracle cure, not saying it can replace other things, but it can sure help. When I am really worried about something and I can pour those worries into my journal, it feels in some ways like those thoughts are being taken out of my mind, put on the paper, and then I don't have to worry about them as much. Think about all the anxiousness, all the grief, all the pain, all the weight, and drawing it out onto the paper. It can feel really healing, but extracting all that stuff from inside, taking it out of yourself, can be really painful, like pulling out a thorn, or, since this is a fantasy book channel, pulling a sword out of your gut. Dredging up feelings can be painful. Taking them all the way out and transferring them to a journal can promote healing. A thorn in your heart isn't going to heal all by itself. Pulling it out hurts, but then it can heal. I have cried tears over my journal many times, but I felt so much better afterwards. Also, journaling can uncover things within yourself that you didn't even know were there. You're just writing and writing and writing, and all of a sudden something comes up and out that you didn't even know was suppressed, didn't even know was hiding in there, and you're like, oh, where did that come from? Good thing I'm journaling. Journaling can help organize your brain. Part of anxious thoughts, or an ADHD brain, or, if you have the type of brain where it feels like thoughts are just swirling around, writing those thoughts down with a pen and paper forces organization. It forces order to the thoughts. It slows you down enough that you have to have time to think about it. Maybe you couldn't even put words to how you were feeling, and then once you have to write it down, you have to put words to it, and that helps you figure out what's going on. What do you even need to do as a next step in your life? You might figure that out through journaling. And now the fun part, my rules. My first rule for your journal is be unapologetically and brutally honest. Your journal is not a place to make other people feel better. It's not a place to justify your actions. Your journal is not a place to try to convince yourself of anything, and it's definitely not a place to lie to yourself. Also, no toxic positivity. You may have heard this term before. It doesn't mean that all positivity is toxic, but it can mean trying to put a good face on something that is not good. Oh, it's okay that they did that. I'll figure it out. In your journal, you can be brutally honest and say, I hated that they did that. That sucks. I wish they would not do that anymore. It's okay. You're not going to hurt anyone. You are going to get those thoughts in an order that you can then get past. The person in your life that deserves honesty the most is yourself. So in your journal, only ever be honest. Rule number 2, no one gets to read your journal. Nobody, not your spouse, not your significant other, child, parent, not even yourself. When you are journaling, Do it with the intention of not going back to read it. Because if you know that someone's going to see it, that will change what you write. It will change how you write it. It will make you self-conscious. It might get in the way of being fully honest with what you write. If you know someone's going to see it, even yourself, you might think that you have to have nicely structured sentences, like when you used to write essays in school and you knew your teacher was going to read it. No teacher is going to be looking in your journal. When you can be confident that no one will see what you wrote, there will be no judgment on what you wrote. It will not matter what anyone thinks, and it doesn't matter how cringy it is, because not even you are going to go back and read it. Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way, and who I have taken some of these ideas from, even suggests tearing the pages out that you wrote and putting them in an envelope to be sure that you don't go back and read them. Also, your journal is not your memoir. It is not your biography that someone is going to publish after your death. Rule number 3, don't hold back. Word vomit. Your journal is your emotional dumpster. Go ahead and throw out the trash. Let all that negativity transfer from you to the journal. Just let it all out. It doesn't matter. You're not ranting to a friend that you have to worry is going to look at you differently if you just dump it all on them. Your journal doesn't care. Your journal soaks it up and takes it out of you. Now, I am not saying to dwell in negativity. I'm not saying that every time you sit down at your journal, you should just be filling it with all negative things. I am saying that if you can slough off the negativity, get it down onto those pages to uncover and release the positivity that's left, that is a much more comfortable place to live. Not toxic positivity, not forced positivity, but real, genuine positivity within yourself because you let go of the negative stuff, getting it out from you onto the paper. Rule number 4 is physically write in a journal, pen or pencil, on paper. I have a few reasons for this. And obviously this doesn't apply if you have a disability that makes writing impractical or impossible, but if you are able to physically write, then do it. One is that it forces a slowness. You can type super duper fast, probably. Not me. I'm a slow typer anyway. But in the forced slowness, forcing it to slow down, it forces you to really think about what you're writing, especially for anxious thoughts. All those fast thinking, swirling things, slowing it down, putting it into real words can really smooth out those feelings and emotions. I also teach yoga, and I always teach a slow flow. I think forced slowness is healing in a lot of different areas, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all those things. Also, when you're typing, every single letter is the same. They all take this motion. When you're writing, every letter, every word has a different motion, and it's a form of creativity, and it's more of a direct thought to paper conversion. It's more of the physical transformation. Also, did you know that studies are showing that students who note take with a pen or pencil on paper have better retention than the students who note take by typing? Interesting, huh? Rule number 5. Your handwriting doesn't matter. Does not matter. You know that journal I showed you? This one? I love this. I think it's so pretty. After I finished this one, I bought an even more beautiful journal. My handwriting is not good. It's not good. It's not pretty. It's not fancy. If I try to write in cursive, it's even worse somehow. Bad handwriting is not an excuse not to journal. It's not an excuse not to write in the pretty journal that someone bought you. Nobody even has to be able to read it. If your handwriting is so incomprehensible that you can't go back and read it yourself, hey, that's fine. You're just following rule 2. Even better now. Rule number 6, there's no wrong way to journal. Maybe you feel like journaling, you have the desire to, somebody gifted you a beautiful journal, and you don't know where to start. You don't know what to write. You don't know if you're doing it right. Maybe you've watched those YouTube videos of the people who do bullet journaling. I don't know. I feel like researching how other people journal puts pressure on you to do it a certain way. And there's not a certain way to do it. You are a unique individual who's going to have your own things to say, your own things to get off your chest, and you're not going to do it the same way as anyone else. Not even the person making a really good journaling video as they write in their cute little bullet journal while they sip their tea. That's their style of journaling. Do it if you wanna, but you don't have to. If you are writing some words on some paper, you're doing it right. Those are the rules. Call them more like actual guidelines if you'd like. But where to start? You have your journal, you have your pen. What do you even write? You might just sit there and stare at the page and think, this is stupid, why did I think I was gonna journal? And then you put it down and go do something else. I have 2 suggestions. One is look up some journaling prompts. You could either just search journal prompts or be more specific. Journaling prompts for moms. Journaling prompts for single men. How to journal to discover my self-identity. I don't know, whatever it is you feel like you're struggling with, search for some things to journal about. And my second suggestion, if you don't know where to start, is just write down what you did today and how you felt about it. Or if you're journaling first thing in the morning, write down what you did yesterday and how you felt about it. Let that be a starting point and see what surfaces from there. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you find healing through your journaling. And if you like fantasy books, subscribe and come back for bookish content. Otherwise, happy journaling and happy reading. Bye!